Good lord. Has it really been 30 years of The Undertaker? Yes. Yes, it has been, good audience. Hard to believe, I know, but it's crazy. And this year's Survivor Series is definitely going to pay some celebration to it as well. 30th anniversary of The Undertaker's debut at this very pay-per-view. Not this exact date, though, mind you. If we had to actually look it up here, that was... looks like November 22nd, 1990 here. That's when Taker debuted. Good lord. So it'll be a couple days. So actually, by the time the actual pay-per-view happens, it will be exactly 30 years to the day that Undertaker debuted in WWE. But it's 2 days early, 20 November for all my Bamani fans at the time of recording this. And yeah. But in addition to Taker's celebration, we also have a regular pay-per-view to go through. I'm gonna be honest, this brand warfare madness has been getting very, very tiring, to say the least. It was fine 4 years ago when you were just getting things back into the fray, and the brand split was still white hot as ever at that point. But as of lately, it's just been getting pretty draining, with nothing really on the line per se, other than bragging rights, which has overstayed its welcome even a couple of years back. Yeah, it's kind of getting tiring. Last year wasn't too bad, actually. It was pretty good with NXT in the fray, but due to certain existential circumstances, the world being a mess right now, and the fact that Vince McMahon has basically somehow got his ideas for booking and madness into NXT and other stuff, it's just they're not featured this year with the same. So it's back to just Raw v SmackDown. I know, not exciting, and some of these matches kind of don't inspire a whole lot, but we'll get to them when we get to them. I'm Coffee Lover 239, and with me as always is Orange Cassidy's personal hype man, Heavy. Say hi, Heavy.
Hey guys, good to be here. Even though a lack of NXT and a bit of a lackluster card, it's still going to be a big night, so can't wait to call it.
Especially for Undertaker, man. And of course, with us as always as well, our resident John Moxley stan, Steven.
Yo, what's up, everyone? I hope everyone has an awesome Friday. From the
And we have a new member joining us, potential future member for this podcast, more than likely. Please welcome Maniac.
Appreciate the intro, Coffee. I'm glad to be here. And hope everybody has a good Friday. Just like Mox said, just get to it.
I hope everyone here is as well, and I'm glad to have you and everyone else on board. So without further ado, let's get on with it. And our first match is Team Raw, consisting of AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman. Woohoo! Sorry, I had to do that there just because, you know. Next time I'm one day, I'm actually going to take off my friggin' headset and actually spin around fully in the chair. I'm surprised JD hadn't thought of doing that before, but who knows? Maybe you may fall out of shape, but I digress. Anyways, yeah, Braun Strowman, Matt Riddle versus Team SmackDown, which consisting of Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Baron Corbin, Seth Rollins, and one man that has yet to be determined.
It's rumored to be Big E. Just saying.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. That's the thing. Rumor has it that Fightful reported it's going to be Big E, and that whatever qualifying match that they taped hadn't aired. So, yeah, it's supposed to air tonight, because SmackDown hasn't aired yet at the time of recording this. It's 12:07 p.m. Central Standard Time in my neck of the woods at the time of recording this on this Friday, November 20th, but we'll see what happens. But it probably will be Big E more than likely. Anyway, so qualifying matches for the Men's Survivor Series elimination match began on the October 26th episode of Raw. AJ Styles, Keith Lee, and Sheamus earned the first 3 spots on Team Raw by respectively defeating Jeff Hardy, Elias, and Matt Riddle. Following week, Braun Strowman qualified for the team by defeating Lee and Sheamus in a triple threat match. Then Matt Riddle won the final spot on Team Raw by defeating Elias and Jeff Hardy in a triple threat match on the November 9th episode. Meanwhile, over on the Blue brand, Team SmackDown's first 2 members were determined on the October 30th episode of SmackDown. Kevin Owens and Jey Uso qualified by defeating Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan respectively. The following week, King Corbin and Seth Rollins qualified by defeating Rey Mysterio and Otis, respectively. And like I said, we still have one blank man, but rumor has it that it will be Big E, and that probably seems very likely. And I don't really think there's much else we can go on about. So, Heedy, who do you think's gonna win?
I think this is one of those matches where I have the easiest time picking. I know. There's a spot available on Team Smackdown, and it probably will be Big E. But when I look at that team, Kevin Owens in a feud with Aleister Black, he'll probably get eliminated with interference from him. You've got Jey Uso, who, yeah, sure, he stepped up recently, but on paper, not a strong name. You've got King Corbin, not much of a threat. Anyway, he's a bit of a jokester. Like, he was used as kind of for the Rock and Becky Lynch segment a year back. So Seth Rollins, he's still doing a thing with Murphy. Rumor has it that he'll be fighting. He's fighting Murphy tonight, isn't he? So I don't think he's wrapped up his chapter. And Big E still needs to build himself up. On Team Raw, all the guys, Styles, Sheamus, Lee, Strowman, Riddle. Well, there's an argument that could be made for McIntyre or Orton, whichever one was to lose on Monday, which is Orton. So you could have had an argument for Orton being a part of this team, but apart from that, all of them don't really have a feud except for this whole 5-on-5 team. So, from a logical standpoint, Team Raw, they seem the most disjointed right now, but they're the ones who don't really have anything on the side they can focus on Sunday. Whereas, on SmackDown, we have all these members who are sort of in their own storylines outside of this matchup. So, plus, I do feel like Keith Lee needs to get back as one of the headline spots on Raw. Maybe he can do that by becoming the sole survivor. So, not only am I going to predict Team Raw to win, I'm going to have Keith Lee be the sole survivor in this match.
Yeah, I really hope Limited can finally become limitless once more. But, yeah, we'll just have to see. Steven, who do you think's going to win? Steven? Ah, shit. Yeah, he's still in the building. Oh, there you are. Who did you say?
One second.
Alright, he has to take care of a thing for a minute, so,
Okay, never mind. I'm good. I think Team Raw's gonna win. Seth Rollins. I think this will be Seth Rollins' last match for a while. This will be his last pay-per-view for now, I think.
Yeah, because his wife, or not wife, yeah, soon-to-be wife, future wife, I should say, if we're talking like Tommy was so in the room. Yeah, fiancé, but yeah, Becky Lynch is due to give birth soon, so yeah. Maniac, who do you think's gonna win?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take Team Raw on this one. There's way more build-up to be done on Team SmackDown. I know that Raw's team has been, a little bit not on the same page, but I think Raw needs to take this one. SmackDown has a lot more storylines to build, maybe potentially up to TLC, maybe even the Royal Rumble. So I'm gonna have to take Team Raw on this one.
And I'm going to have to agree with all three of you and go with Team Raw on this one myself. Truth be told, Raw has the stronger lineup. And one of you actually mentioned that all the Survivor Series teams that have had Braun Strowman on them have won in some way, shape, or form.
And actually, last year Team SmackDown won. Actually,
yeah, that was the 5-on-5 match, but NXT still won the night overall when it was still a great brand. At least now it's kind of a little bit suffered, but that's another story for another time. But for real though, every single Survivor Series like that Team Braun Strowman has been on, or that Braun Strowman has been on, he has won in some way, shape, or is he really? Or not quite one. Okay, not quite. But everything since, I believe, 2017. Not counting 2016, because Team SmackDown won, and Braun was on Team Raw at the time. So, yeah. That one really was not. But I think since 2017 and onward. Yeah, because...
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, 2017 and on... Or maybe last year? I can't remember. I thought someone mentioned a thing, but it might be incorrect, unfortunately. Yeah, Strowman lost in 2016 when he was on Team Raw. In 2017, he was on Team Raw, and they won that year's 5-on-5 men's match. For 2018, that was... Yeah, he was on Team Raw for 2018, and they won that men's Survivor Series elimination match. And for last year, he was on Team Smackdown, and they won. So every Survivor Series match that Strowman has been on from 2017 and onward, whichever team he's been on, they've typically won, not counting 2016. So there's a chance that that carries over here, that streak. Or maybe they snap it. We'll just have to see. Let's go to the next match. And our next match we have is the 5-on-5 Women's Elimination Survivor Series match. We have Team Raw consisting of Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, oh boy, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce versus Team SmackDown, Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and 2 members who sadly have yet to be determined. And given the field that they have, it shouldn't be too hard to narrow it down. I imagine one of the women on Team SmackDown would have to be Bayley. I'm not sure who you could have on the other side, though. If we look at the WWE personnel page, and we look at the women that are currently on SmackDown, there's really not actually... Hold on, I gotta find it. It linked me the wrong page. There we go. There really isn't actually much when you look at things in the grand scheme of things. You look at the female, like... Wait, we went down to NXT by accident. Oops, how'd that happen? But when you look at who isn't, who we could possibly have, who hasn't been announced... Well, let me just go over the breakdown of the match, and then we'll get into that. Alright, so for the Women's Survivor Series elimination match, all 5 of Team Raw's members were initially revealed on the October 26th episode of Raw. And then WWE officials Adam Pearce and Pat Buck announced that the Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, along with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke, would represent Raw. The 5th and final spot was determined by a fatal 4-way match in which Lana won by defeating Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Nikki Cross. Ugh. And on the November 16th episode of Raw, due to Jax and Baszler attacking Rose's arm during a tag team match, and then Retribution's Reckoning, aka Mia Yim, later attacking Brooke backstage, both Rose and Brooke were unable to compete at Survivor Series. Thus, Pearce announced that they would be replaced by, and here's a downgrade for ya, Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce, who are a tag team for some fucking reason. Can I just say, the fact that we're having to have so many makeshift tag teams in this madness with the women's tag belts makes me feel like we need to nuke them sooner rather than later. Just nuke them. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, Team SmackDown's first member was determined on the October 30th episode of SmackDown. Bianca Belair won the spot by defeating Billie Kay and Natalya in a triple threat match. Ruby Riott won the second spot on the following episode, where she defeated Natalya and Zelina Vega in a triple threat match, which that possibly had to have been... Was that Zelina Vega's final match before her shocking release? Or maybe not so shocking given recent events?
I think it was.
It might have been, actually. That may have been it, yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. On the November 13th episode, Liv Morgan qualified by defeating Natalya, Tamina, and Chelsea Green, who actually was originally supposed to win that match. But due to her actually hurting her wrist, they basically had to call an audible and give the match to Liv Morgan. So, yeah, and there's still 2 members that have yet to be determined. My guess, like I said, is that Bayley will be one of them, but who could you really have from this long list? And we're going to take out Chelsea Green because of her broken wrist, and Sasha Banks because she has a match that we will eventually get into later on in this podcast. Who do you really have left? I mean, we have Bayley, but she's probably a given. Billie Kay, I don't think so. Carmella, I don't know. Who else? Natalya and friggin' Tamina. Well, we could take Tamina off the list because jabber. We could probably take Billie Kay off the list because she's not doing much right now. Good lord, that would only leave Bayley, Carmella, and Natalya, one of those 3. And with Bayley probably being a deadlock for one of them, or maybe not, I don't know. It possibly would either leave Natalya or friggin' Carmella. It's like a rock and a hard place. Who do you choose? maybe Carmella because you've revamped her and such, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
As far as who I think is going to be the final 2 members first of Team SmackDown, I'm going to go with Bayley because I think she needs something to do for this pay-per-view. And I'm also going to go with Billie Kay because you know how WWE love those wrestler showdowns and dream matches. And in their head, I feel like they'll do something with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, have them fight for a bit.
Never thought about that before.
But to be honest, this is a match I'm not really caring too much about. Just like
Same.
WWE. I'd rather know if Lana's going to be put through a table for the 10th time in a row than who's going to win.
Good Lord.
Spoiler alert, I think that will happen. But as to who I think is going to win, I don't know. I mean, I can't bet against a team that has Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on it. I feel like they're two big assets for WWE that can't be put to waste by losing here. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there will be a SmackDown prediction for me down the line, but for now, it's going to be another Raw one. I think Team Raw's got this.
Yeah, and except probably there's one elephant we haven't even mentioned yet. Well, I might as well mention it unless one of you bring it up first. Steven, who do you think's gonna win?
I think Team Raw's gonna win. Because you have the women's tag team champions, and Shayna and Nia Jax has been killing it, especially putting Lana through tables each week.
9 consecutive weeks.
So, yeah, even though we don't know who the last 2 members for Team SmackDown, Bianca Belair, she's kind of still new to the main roster.
I don't know.
I like her as a wrestler. Don't get me wrong. I wish they push her enough, though.
Amen. I wish you on that one.
And then you have Lacey Evans. Also, Lacey's pretty good on Team Raw. So I don't care about Lana. I don't care about Peyton Royce. Those are gonna get eliminated. Be those 3, I believe: Evans, Baszler, and Nia Jax. The final 3. But if there was a sole survivor, probably Shayna Baszler.
I don't know about that, man, but I'll get to that when I go over my prediction. Maniac, who do you think's gonna win?
This is gonna piss everybody off, not only in this voice chat, but everybody watching.
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to go Team Raw on this one, and let me tell you why. I love Bianca Belair, but here's what I think: Bianca and Shayna Baszler, 2 last, right? But in the beginning of the match, Nia Jax is going to put Lana through a table.
And she does.
Now, I don't know how they're going to get Shayna and Bianca eliminated, but what I think is going to happen is they're going to think that Team Raw is done, but Lana was never pinned. She's still outside of the ring through a table. So, therefore, Lana's going to be the sole survivor through a table. Therefore, Raw picks up the win.
Oh, good grief. You had to mention the big one. I was hoping I was going to be able to just unleash some fury. But you know what? I'm amped up as well because I took Mox's advice one weekend, like the weekend we shot what was the last one that we did? I think that may have been Full Gear. Yeah, and then told me to get a hot chocolate basically to help me feel better with some stuff. But I got the Dunkachino from Dunkin' Donuts, mix of chocolate, hot coffee. So I'm amped up, and let me say, I can't even believe this fucking madness, might I add. That is the one thing I was afraid of that Maniac mentioned. Lana being the sole goddamn survivor in all of this, when all is said and done. That is the major rumor that's been going around. And that Lana will somehow be the sole fucking survivor for Team Raw. Because they've been trying to build her up as this sympathetic babyface. But all they're fucking doing is being petty as shit. Because her husband, Miro, when he got released on that Black Wednesday madness, went to fucking AEW because wanted to be booked better to hell. And it's still a little bit of a start. But eventually the good shit will happen. Just patience, young Padawan. But seriously, this madness, by putting her through a table, 9 fucking consecutive weeks, boom, through a table, boom, through a table, boom, through a table, boom, 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 boom. And this is the match that you want to use to portray her as sympathetic as a babyface? I hate to break it to you guys, but that's not how that works. Like, at all. And Lana as a babyface? Oh, good. Don't even get me started. I don't think that would work. I know some wrestlers go for better as baby faces, but even on both spectrums, Lana just I'm gonna be honest, she doesn't do anything for me, basically. She was better. It was better. What are you saying, Mox?
I skip the matches when I don't watch her matches. They're just boring, like literally.
She really doesn't do much in the term. Her in-ring skills aren't really all that special. She's more better on the mic, like as a manager. But even then, actually, as her, it's just, oh my god, she's one of those people where I just have to instantly just auto-mute, like, get mute, like I do with Corbin and all.
Yeah. I mean, Lana was great when she first started. When she was with Rusev, like 2015, she seemed a badass character back then.
Yeah. But then, unfortunately, they split the two up because of madness, because they got married in real life. And then, basically, once again, they tried to do the same shit again, basically, but to even worse results than what happened last time. And now Miro's in AEW, and this is why Lana has been put through tables for 9 brutal consecutive weeks. And it's all going to culminate at this, with her being the sole survivor and Team Raw winning. Fuck that shit. And apparently there's going to be some documentary as well, from what I've heard. So, you know what's not going to be in it? Miro. Oh boy, because we know WWE's petty with this shit. Looks like we're all unanimous with Team Raw on this one, albeit with the worst way possible, as Maniac mentioned, and I've unleashed Fury onto, so let's just go to the next match. And here we have the first of what will be 4 champion versus champion matches. First up is Raw's United States Champion, Bobby Lashley, versus SmackDown's Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. Excuse me. Alright. So all 4 of the Champions Brand Supremacy matches were announced on the October 26th episode of Raw. Okay, there's some other things in here that I don't want to get into, but let's see. Yeah. Bobby Lashley would face Sami Zayn. Is there anything else I can mention in here? Well, other than Bobby Lashley retaining the U.S. Championship against Titus O'Neil in the November 9th episode of Raw. Don't you know Titus has Titus Catering and all? And that Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn retained his title against Apollo Crews on the November 13th episode of SmackDown. Oh, wait, what the hell? I thought Crews was on Raw. Wait, did he get drafted to SmackDown? Oh, fuck, I forget. I forget the draft because they still go all over the place at times. I can't even remember what's what. Anything else we should mention? Nope. That's it for there, so not much build-up. I will say, though, even if the tides have turned, just saying that, Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn, you don't think of this, probably. I know what you're all probably thinking of, and we mentioned this before I hit record. That awful feud from 2018, I believe. Bobby's sisters. Oh my god, I feel like an idiot for just mentioning that. Oh, don't even get me started. That was an awful time, basically. That was like, I think it was 2018, if I remember correctly.
I think it was Money in the Bank.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. But like, the feud, it culminated there, and it was basically, yeah, it was Bobby Lashley versus like Sami Zayn. It was just the build up to this.
That's when Sami Zayn got injured and he couldn't wrestle for
Yeah, that was like his last match, and it was kind of a squash, basically. Like, Bobby just put him out of his misery and put all of us out of our misery for having to suffer through that god-awful dumpster fire of a feud, basically. What was it on? I think it was on... It must have been on Raw. Yeah, apparently there was something where Bobby Lashley did his one-hand suspended vertical suplex on Zayn that claimed him to give him vertigo, and he missed the GRR, but real-life circumstances actually prevented that, so they had to make a storyline excuse instead of just not announcing him before and jumping the gun. Oops. And then at Backlash, Lashley and Strowman defeated Owens and Zayn. And yeah, the goddamn sisters. And then 3 men in drag dressed up as Lashley's sisters, and just... You know, I'm gonna stop. Just, that was fucking terrible. I mean, the tides have changed for both of these. Bobby's now the killer that he is, or not quite, but he's a dominant force in the Hurt Business. And Sami Zayn has also changed up quite a bit too. Way more scruffier, way more of a pencil neck geek, and a bit of a
Heels.
stubborn son of a bitch. Yeah, I mean, both are technically heels, but it's like they're kind of different. Well, maybe not so much Lashley. I don't know. I'm just... Ay. See, this stuff is more exciting probably than the actual match will be. Heaty, who do you think's gonna win?
I like to disassociate myself from the Lashley Zayn feud of 2018 and the one of now, because he was so new and fresh, and coming back to the WWE, he was nearly DOA with that whole feud. So
Yeah.
I like to disassociate that. It's a pretty simple storyline aspect here. You got Bobby Lashley saying he is one of the strongest, most agile superstar in WWE, combination of two. But here's where I find it interesting. Sami Zayn, he's been spouting off about how he's the smartest and how he can outthink and outperform Lashley when it really matters. And there is evidence of this. I mean, if we want to go back to the triple threat ladder match for the IC title.
Oh yeah, clever son of a
That was
bitch.
a bit
He
of
was
genius.
there.
Ingenious, by
Evil
saying.
son of a bitch too, might I add, but genius nonetheless.
Well, Lashley has probably been booked better the last few weeks. I think that they're going to tap into Zayn's creativity to have an out-of-the-box finish for Zayn to get the W here. And plus, with all of this Raw winning, I feel like we need to give a W to SmackDown in one of the predictions at least. So I'm going to go with Zayn to beat Lashley.
I see. And Steven, who do you think's gonna win?
Another Raw win for me. Bobby Lashley's gonna 2-0. 2-0.
I see. And Maniac, who do you think's gonna win?
Gotta agree with Mox. Gonna give the win to Bobby Lashley. With the Hurt Business being the biggest thing on Raw lately, I don't see Sami Zayn really getting the win here. So yeah, I'm gonna have to take Bobby Lashley in this one.
I'm gonna have to agree with you and Mox and go with Lashley. Sorry, Eni, but it looks like you're the lone one for Zayn. Truth be told, even as friggin' Zayn, I'm not even sure there will be much in the way. The Hurt Business don't really have much else to do, so in theory, they could probably have their own shenanigans. Well, I don't know, Sami Zayn is still going to be rocking by himself, or if he's going to call upon the stooges that he has in the Artist Collective, who should frankly be doing things in the mid-card division. Or for Shinsuke's case, he should have been fucking WWE champion when they had the chance. I'm still pissed about that, but... But yeah, I'm going to have to go with Bobby Lashley on this one. And our next match is a New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus the Raw Tag Team Champions versus the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, who, might I add, are, by the way, champions with their respective belts because of just trading the belts and not just actually fucking, I don't know, merging the goddamn divisions when they stood, especially because there's not many tag teams. No, I don't even want to get into it. I've gone into it time and time again on the friggin' podcast about merging the tag divisions and how there's barely anything left, and clearly Retribution ain't going for the belts, and I don't see the Hurt Business doing it yet, but I don't know. It's too much. Actually, it's too little teams. Now, excuse me there. All right, anything to mention of note here? Again, these champion versus champion matches don't have build-ups because they were all announced at once. Anything to...
But remember when the New Day won the Survivor Series back in 2018, but they never counted it? Remember?
Wait, 2018. You mean the Smackdown on the pre-show? Oh yeah, the 5-on-5 tag team match.
They wanted that whole clean sweep, didn't they?
Yeah, and there was an accidental pin, basically, is what happened. Like, they completely, basically, they basically got, like, an accidental pin. Like, the finish got botched, and that's what happened. So they just ignored it. My God, what a joke, man. Just awful, awful. Anyways, but where was I? Oh, yeah, is there anything I can mention? Anything of note? Other than saying New Day retaining their Raw Tag Team Championships against the Hurt Business on the November 16th episode of Raw. The Street Profits tried to get info on the Survivor Series opponents from former New Day member Big E, who basically told them the New Day would win. Anything else? Doesn't look like there is. And with all of it mixed in together, it does make it genuinely hard to follow. Not gonna lie, folks. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
It's I don't know. I mean, normally I'd go with Street Profits. You know, they're one of the most protected teams in all of WWE in 2020. But you know, it's a New Day. They're longest reigning stable in quite a while, maybe ever. They've had a long run, and just because Big E's gone, I don't think it makes them any less of a force. If anything, I feel like this will give them a new leash on life or something like that. I mean, I've got Big E to lose on Team of SmackDown, so I feel like New Day have to have some success. So I don't know. I'm making excuses because I'm genuinely 50-50 on this. I'm going to go with the New Day.
I see. Steven, who do you think's gonna win?
You know, with the return of Kofi and Xavier back on SmackDown, like during the draft, and they got stronger than ever. But on the other hand, Street Profits hasn't lost ever since they won the Raw Tag Team Champions. Even though they never lost those titles, don't get me wrong, they never lost the Raw Tag Team Champions. Like you said, they traded the titles. I'm thinking with the SmackDown. I gotta go with the Street Profits. I think they're trying to push the Street Profits on this one.
I see. And Maniac, who do you think's gonna win?
I just want to start off by saying I do not give a flying fuck about this match because the trade just made the tag titles look like shit. But I'm gonna have to go with the Street Profits on this one. To be honest with you, I need to get a SmackDown prediction on here. Street Profits over the New Day. I take anything over the New Day, so I'm gonna go with Street Profits.
Looking at this, I feel like the New Day can probably afford to take more of a loss in the grand scheme of things here. And with the way the Profits are, how they want them to matter, because, well, they're currently on, I guess, technically the bigger of the two shows currently, because SmackDown's on Fox, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the Street Profits on this one. And our next match is Raw Women's Champion Asuka versus SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. Now, let's see. Anything of note to mention here would help me out. Other than SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks retaining her title against Bayley on the November 6th episode of SmackDown. Anything else? Damn. Nothing for Asuka. Oh, that's lame. Well, I guess I didn't think she had a match at that point, at least on TV, so yeah. But what are you really gonna do? I mean, it is what it is, but even then, I mean, the tides have kind of turned, and there's rumors going around with certain things, and some shit, I'm not even sure. Truth be told, I'm kind of on this match. Now, if I remember correctly, Mox actually mentioned this, or Steven mentioned this, before I hit the record button, and that was, yeah, this is actually a rematch from SummerSlam, but Sasha was the Raw Women's Champion, couldn't defend it as well against Asuka. That whole feud had some crazy shit that I don't want to get into right now, but who knows? I'm hoping. I'm sure this will still be a good match. They're both pretty good in-ring workers, but we'll just have to see. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
Before I answer that question, let me ask a question of my own. When you take a whiz, do you get a sense of Khalifa? Who I think is going to win this match? I don't know. Sasha Banks is a hot streak right now. I don't know. I feel like Asuka doesn't really have any potential challenges unless they were to split up Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. So I'm just trying to position this on where they'd be in the future. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go for Asuka because out of the two, she's been more protected in 2020. And I feel like if you look at the quintessential face of the women's division, Becky Lynch ain't here, you look for Asuka. I think Asuka's like one of, if not the face of the women's division right now. So I'm going to go with her.
I see. Steven, who do you think's going to win?
I'll go with you on this one, Asuka. And another reason Asuka is going to win. What did she say? No one is ready for Asuka.
Yeah, that used to be the case, and then Yeah, WrestleMania 34 happened, and I'm not gonna get into that because that still also pisses me off to this day. So, yeah, quite a lot of shite booking at that Mania, but what are you gonna do, basically? Yeah, and, Maniac, who do you think's gonna win?
Honestly, I do not know. Kind of 50-50 on this one, but if I had to choose, I'm going to go with Sasha Banks. Um, I think I know Sasha's beaten Asuka a couple of times in the past or whatnot, but I think Sasha really does need this win. I do think that Asuka needs to be built up to what she used to be before she got defeated by Charlotte at WrestleMania 34. However, Sasha's been on a pretty long streak here, so I'm gonna have to give the win to Sasha Banks.
I feel like I should give this one to Sasha as well, truth be told, because there might be other reasons. There's really not much for Asuka to do with the belt, but there's been a lot of other stuff going down. It probably won't be a submission finish if I'm being perfectly honest, or maybe, I don't know, but it's more likely that they don't want to go full submission. If you go just like a normal pin or even the goddamn dreaded fruit roll-up pin, and I wouldn't put it past them to do it because it's WWE we're talking about, but yeah, I feel like Sasha probably has higher momentum. Asuka's reign, it's been a little over the place at times. Like her initial feud against Bayley and Sasha earlier in the year when they were in the Performance Center doing their shows. It was, I'm not gonna lie, it was all over the place. All sorts of crazy shit that I don't even want to get into, like I said. So I think I'm gonna go with Sasha on this one to win. And our last champion versus champion match, and our last match before we wrap things up, is Drew McIntyre, Raw's WWE Champion, versus Roman Reigns, SmackDown's Universal Champion. Now, this wasn't always this case here, per se. Initially, we all know at Hell in a Cell that Randy Orton beat Drew McIntyre to get the freaking belt for whatever reason, but ultimately that didn't goddamn happen, actually. Yeah. The men's championship, world championship matchup changed after losing the what am I saying? I'm going all over the place. I can't even talk. Alright, but after losing the WWE Championship to Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell on October 25th, Drew McIntyre was given a rematch for the title. Prior to that, McIntyre appeared in the November 13th episode of SmackDown to confront Universal Champion Roman Reigns despite not being WWE Champion. On the November 16th episode of Raw, McIntyre defeated Orton to regain the WWE Championship, thus becoming Reigns' opponent at Survivor Series. Well, I guess so much for the nostalgia of doing a repeat moment 10 years ago when Miz had Money in the Bank and cashed in on Orton that night to win the WWE Championship. So much for that, I guess. No lost love for any of that nostalgia there. Actually, there shouldn't have been much, but whatever. And come to think about it, when I look at this, it maybe makes sense because, well, Randy Orton's a heel of sorts, and, well, Roman Reigns is damn sure a heel as the tribal chief, but it's like, why even have Drew McIntyre lose the title in the first place? All you're doing is causing us more pain and trouble. Is that really what you want? It's a mess. Truth be told, Drew should have never really lost the belt at Hell in a Cell. Because now, two-time for whatever, you just patted Randy Orton with a Sasha Banks-like initial title reign, where he doesn't defend it on the first go, and what can I say? It's like you're hot potatoing the goddamn title, making it not so, well, prestigious, even though it probably really hasn't had much of it in years, but you gotta make do with what you can sometimes, folks. In any case, it probably does make more sense, but we'll just have to see what happens. Healy, who do you think's gonna win?
I'm so glad they did the bait and switch like they have done in the past 2 years. I mean, to begin with it, AJ Styles defeated Jinder Mahal. And
that was for the
Styles
better,
versus
though.
Lesnar.
That was for the
Exactly.
better. And I could personally vouch for that, by the way, because I was there for that pay-per-view in person, because it was in my city. And, man, that was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen live. Continue.
The next year, we had Daniel Bryan drop a deuce on Styles, kick him in the nuts to win the title. We got Bryan versus Lesnar. Again, a great match.
Again, yeah, for the better.
while I couldn't dispute that Orton Reigns would probably have been a good match, just, of course, with where their characters' directions are going, they're both heels. It doesn't make that much sense. Plus, you want a distinct face you can cheer for. With McIntyre, he's in the best run of his career right now, probably having the best year of his career right now. Same with Roman, he's come into his own. He's finally got that heel turn everyone was clamoring for.
Hell yeah!
So it's the perfect storm. These two having a showdown right now. If you don't think it's going to win, well, I think both have a lot to gain from winning this match. I feel like Reigns has a lot more to lose from this match. He's not ready. He's not in a position where he can take a pinfall loss right now. I feel like they're still building him up to Mania, where he could probably go against Rock or Bryan or someone, but he can't lose now. I feel like McIntyre can take the loss because he did lose recently to Orton at Hell in a Cell. So for that reason, I'm going to go with the Tribal Chief. Going to go for SmackDown to win this, Reigns.
I see. Steven, who do you think's going to win?
Then again, he might be right because if you remember correctly, Roman did beat Drew twice, technically 3 times, but that was a tag team match with the Undertaker at Extreme Rules. You probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But the time he beat Drew was at WrestleMania last year.
Yeah.
The second time he beat him in the singles competition was at Stomping Grounds, it was a good pay per view, but still. So, but I think Drew might win. But here's the thing. Miz might cash in. But who he catch it on? The WWE champion? Or the Universal? Or maybe both.
No, or neither. Either way, he's screwed.
Yeah, maybe Randy might get redemption. And then again, you were saying that history might repeat itself. Maybe Randy might get the WWE championship someday. But let me just tell you this. John Cena and Ric Flair is 16th time. He'll be his 15th time. Miz cashes in. Okay, yeah, get another champion. He'll be 16. He beats Miz to be 16. But the title gets vacated because, he can't have the match at WrestleMania because 16, you have to be vacate the title somehow. Miz will be injured, probably can't defend it. Yada, yada, yada. What do you do? Tournament, get John Cena, then you get Randy Orton. John Cena winning the Royal Rumble there.
Oh,
you get John Cena Royal Rumble. You get the Elimination Chamber, let Randy win. Yada, 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 you get that WrestleMania. There.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea what to make of any of that, but I'll have to listen back later on and try to process it all at once. We'll just see. Maniac, who do you think's gonna win?
Honestly, this is gonna be kind of hard, but easy at the same time. But honestly, I do not see Roman Reigns, whether he's protected or not, losing a match until at least WrestleMania of next year. So, I have a pitch though. I think that we're gonna get maybe a 20-minute match between McIntyre and Reigns, and then Miz's music is gonna hit. He's gonna cash in, but he doesn't have a target. He's gonna go for whoever he can. He doesn't have any target in mind. But what's gonna happen is Roman Reigns is going to end up pinning Miz, therefore protecting Drew McIntyre, and Roman Reigns is going to win this match. I'm going to go with Roman Reigns.
So some kind of interference here. My guess, if I play this out, if you were playing it out, if I'm trying to picture this, is that Miz runs in at an important spot to cash in and causes a disqualification in one of the matches. Possibly gives it, decks whoever, basically. Possibly Roman, so Roman still wins by DQ or whatever. Or maybe it could be McIntyre because neither man would be taking a pin. I don't know. Whoever, but if he decks Roman, then chances are it would probably be Roman to go after. Only realize Roman, just because he's Roman, takes down Miz and boom. Just to wash your hands of this madness of 2020 Money in the Bank briefcase madness. You might as well wash it.
That last year, I'm still pissed how we didn't get Adam Cole versus Brock Lesnar versus The Fiend. I'm still pissed at that WWE.
Trust me, man. It would have been a really, really tough one because no one at that point could have afforded to be pinned or submitted. No one, basically. Not Lesnar, not Cole, and damn sure not Bray Wyatt. But
Brock Lesnar was going to win that match either way.
Oh, good grief. Good grief, man. I think I've figured out the real issue with Lesnar now at this point after realizing some of this madness. But just, that's another topic for another time. Looking at this, did you even really need to have a cash-in at this point? I don't even know, man. Either way, I'm probably feeling Roman Reigns is going to win somehow. Because you're damn right. You guys are right how you mentioned it, how they're not going to basically have Roman take a loss, at least until WrestleMania, to make this reign seems like it's worth a damn. Now, they could definitely put some shit in, of course, and do a screwy finish. And given that this company's history of this madness, I wouldn't put it past them. But I'm going to go with the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, to win this one. So yeah, there's your card. Expectations are kind of a little right now with everything. But who knows, maybe it will be better than expected. And don't forget, we still have Undertaker Celebration, so please keep that in mind, because there's probably going to be some important stuff there. Someone's going to interfere, probably. They keep advertising this as a final farewell. Oh, and
Bullshit.
yeah, that's not going to probably be the case. Someone's probably going to interfere. Maybe the Fiend, or I don't know. And it possibly builds up to Undertaker's true final match, because you damn know they want to have it in front of fans. But given this madness, things kind of can't really be right now, unfortunately. But with some sporting events finally having fans back in, albeit some places, depending on how things are, you damn know Vince McMahon is going to try and find a way to do it, because everything got fucked up by the world going to shit right now. But what can we do? Oh, and speaking of final, by the way, this will actually be WWE's final pay-per-view currently from the Amway Center. They are moving the Thunderdome to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's probably also going to be where their last pay-per-view of the year is. Yeah, TLC. That will be where the last pay-per-view of the year is, and the last pay-per-view that we will do for this podcast of the year. But I do want to thank all my people here who are with me. I want to thank Heathie, as always, for being here. Say bye, Heathie. Heathie.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As always, take drugs, don't go to school, kill people. See you next time.
I think you got that all backwards, but whatever. And of course, I want to thank Steven, as always, for being here with us. Say bye, Steven.
See you guys. We'll see you full, as William Regal will say it, War Games.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the clip played up basically here for that when we do the podcast for that one. And I want to thank Maniac for joining us as well, and I hope to see you on more future podcasts as well, man.
Most definitely. Appreciate it, guys. Join the Discord, like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you. Enjoy Survivor Series.
Yeah, hopefully so. And next time we will see you for War Games, as Regal would say. So, that's happening on December 6th, so, we should be back sometime. See you in about a couple weeks or so when, more people are revealed for the team here. Oh, wait, they already have been revealed, or I think, is that the case here? They just dropped the whole members for the War Games team, for the women's at least. The men's have already been fully decided, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And I better go get that clip ready, too, of William Regal saying it, because who else better to say it than Regal? But, thank goodness they're still doing War Games, because, yeah. See you all for War Games in about a couple weeks or so. Bye.